Hi, this is Eve with Detox the Body, MCS.com. There's a hawk. I wrote this book, Detox with Ease. It's a very short, simple book. It's actually for everyone. Give it to all your friends. They will understand you and toxins better. And it's mostly about how to just avoid chemicals. It breaks down all the different kinds of chemicals, the way we get them into our body, all of our different detoxing organs, and how our body eliminates them, and how to keep everything as toxin-free as possible. For an average person, they can cut down on their toxins 90% just by changing a few things. As you know, like laundry detergent, things like that. People, they just don't have any idea. So I talk about hormones in foods, all things like that. Today I want to talk about pH. This is for Eileen, because Eileen was in the hospital and having some fungus problem. Let me make sure I turn my clock on. Nope. So Eileen, and anyway, many people have such issues, and I actually had a terrible problem last year, which led to this H. pylori pathogen situation. It's from antibiotics, and as many people know, when you take antibiotics, it kills all the flora and bacteria and things in your gut, but somehow it doesn't kill the yeast, and then the yeast proliferate, and then your body gets out of balance. You get all kinds of yeast and sensitivities and leaky gut and bad bacteria, parasites, viruses, all things like that. So if you have any Lyme's disease or whatever, we all are full of parasites and viruses. But I actually believe, after doing all kinds of protocols and reading for years and years during my MCS recovery about getting rid of them and whatnot, I think in the end it's just to have a balance, because they're all going to be in there. You know, you just have to make sure that they do not take control. You know, that your good bacteria and your immune system is also in your gut. Your neurons are in your gut, your mood, everything, you know, it's all in here, and that's a lot in the news now, so I'm not going to even talk about it. But I wrote an article maybe 4 or 5 years ago saying that I think that baking soda can actually be a huge help in MCS, if not a cure. So basically, many of us have too much yeast, molds, and fungus in our bodies, and we're acidic. Have you ever read, there's a book on, you know, how to eat to alkalize your body? And I've read that book, but I can't really follow diet, so I just remember the basics. You know, obviously sugar is acidic, and, you know, there's a lot of things like beans you're not supposed to eat, but I don't really follow anything like that. But I try to keep in mind alkalinity and pH balance. One time I was in Greece, and I started getting a little sick at that time. I was still recovering, and there was like a DuPont factory near me, and everything was coated. So I just ate lemons from the lemons tree, thank God, you know, all day long, and that really helped me to recover. Because one thing that lemons do, and also baking soda, and also apple cider vinegar, and also eating correctly, also breathing and meditation does, is help to alkalize your body. And I actually believe, like, when I'm feeling bad for any reason, even if I'm just in a grouchy mood, I think, you know, I can feel actually that my body's in sort of an acidic state. I just got these back out recently because they're awful fun. I was dyeing something blue, so my hands are blue. But these are these cool pH test strips. You can test your urine or your saliva. It's kind of hard to test your saliva because you have to get like pure saliva and like get it from under your tongue. It's kind of a lot easier to test your urine. I like these better than the tape, even though these are more expensive. When the tape color, I don't feel like I could get a good read from it, but this is more, I like these a lot. So I got these out because I like experimenting with myself, studying my own self. And I was grouchy, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to test my pH, and it was a little bit acidic. And I just started doing some baking soda and things like that, because actually I've been really well for a long time, and I took antibiotics about a year ago, and I was fasting. Very foolish, don't ever do that. My tongue ended up turning black. So my body got so off kilter. So I've spent like you know, it wasn't too bad, you know, because I caught it and I've been dealing with it, but I did end up getting this H. pylori, which apparently 50% of people have. But so I'm back on this pH thing. Also, I actually think that it can help with mold, people with mold problems, just keeping your pH balanced. People with any kind of illness, because there are the books that say that when you read the book on, you know, alkalize your body, it says no illness can stay in an alkaline balanced body, you know, which is like 7.0, 7.5. I don't know if I believe that's true. I did a protocol on a website that's called phkillscancer.com, and I also studied a lot of cancer, and I had friends with cancer, and just, you know, in all of my reading that I did when I was laying in bed, you know, fatigued with chemical sensitivity all those couple of years, I read a lot about fungus. People think cancer is a fungus, Dr. Simoncini, all this. So I think that actually in real life, like, fungal overgrowth is possibly contributing to maybe every illness, especially cancer. You know, people, like, it's very common we have these like distended bellies and stuff like that. Usually that's kind of like a yeast overgrowth. You generally, if you have a chronic illness, you generally have these parasitics, yeast, candida, all those things all goes together. In Chinese medicine, they call it dampness. Dampness is when you have like a white coating or a pale tongue, which is also associated with yeast, thrust, everything else. Dampness. Okay. So I would think that doing the protocol for pH Kills Cancer could actually heal chemical sensitivity. I've actually done it a couple of times, but not completely, because I wasn't desperate enough to go the whole 4 days getting your pH at 8. But I've done it once or twice, and I do think it really coincided with a lot of my feeling better. This guy apparently cured his stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Although it's hard to find where this guy is now. I think he might have passed away since then, but he did kind of miraculously come back. And there are many stories of people healing cancer with baking soda. So that said, baking soda is one of the most amazing things that will alkalize your body. I used to drink it in water a little bit, you know, between meals, because you don't want it to interfere with your digestion, because you need your stomach acids to digest your food. But then after a while, I just put some under my tongue, because I get sick of drinking it. Some things, you know, if you do too much, you don't want to do them anymore. But I can just put a little pinch under my tongue. So I'm experimenting again. It's actually pretty fun. You can get your pH level pretty quick, actually pretty immediately. Like if you get a, what's that, bladder infection, if you catch it early, just with baking soda, it will go away. You know, people have this toe fungus. I believe it's, you know, part of your whole body that's sort of allowing these funguses to. I know a lot of people sick with MCS also have mold issues, and it's like we sort of have everything issues. And I believe that it could be from yeast and molds and fungus in our body, and our body just can't handle anymore. So our body says, go to a place where there's no mold, because we don't want any more mold, and we don't want any more chemicals. Like, I really believe in the intelligence of the body. I know I'm saying a lot. I don't script anything. I don't have time. I'm so busy, but I just really want to get my information out. Dampness, candida, yeast, mold. So this guy's name's Vernon. I check out his website, and I would do it if I was sick. You know, I did do it, you know, and I recovered. I mean, I think just, here's the thing about getting well, is that generally is the simplest thing, like baking soda. You know how much baking soda costs? Like $1. You don't even have to get the organic kind. If you read online, it says, oh, you have to get, you know, the organic because the other one has aluminum. But that's not true. It's baking powder that has aluminum, not baking soda. But I just get the cheap one sometimes. So here's what you do. You just get the strips, put a little baking soda under your tongue, and just make sure your body is at an alkaline level, which is like 7 is good, 7.5. You know, any of these other acidic levels means you're too acidic, and generally when you're not feeling good, you're going to be acidic. Get tired of doing stuff. So I like to read the books and just keep in mind, you know, how to have an overall more alkaline diet. Obviously, eating junk food all day, you're going to need a lot of baking soda. And of course, there's other better ways to be alkaline, you know, more probiotics, more lemons, more different kind of foods. However, the baking soda really works. Like, I wouldn't take tons of baking soda for my whole life, but remember Alka-Seltzer? My grandfather, he lived to be very old, even though he drank a lot and was so grouchy and angry all the time, probably smoked till he was like 65. And, you know, my dad was saying he was always taking Alka-Seltzer, Alka-Seltzer. So that's basically like baking soda. So get well, like my video, share it, subscribe. If you want to help me make great videos, please let me know. I do some wellness consulting. One reason, like, I don't act so professional is because I'm not a doctor and I don't want you to get confused and go alkalize. You know, this is not medical advice. And you can't overdo it with the baking soda. I did read a ton. And whenever you read any health protocol, you're going to find like all these huge warnings, you know, you could get alkalosis. But I think there's like very rare, even though I worried about it, like when you do the Vernon protocol, you do pump your pH up to 8 for like 4 days. It can help you with a lot of things. I'm very good at motivating and finding a way to find a way, you know, just how we get well. Alright, I'm going to do all my videos in Spanish, so if you have Spanish-speaking friends, like, hook them up too, because a few people in Spanish-speaking have written me that they don't have anything in their language, and I happen to speak fluent Spanish. Have a great day. Like, share, start a conversation, because that was a very quick rundown. Bye.